is, you probably know RUFORUM, which is basically the regional universities forum for capacity building. It was begun in 2004, and since then, even though the beginning was a bit conservative, they have moved very, very fast to actually consolidate. They began with a few countries. Now they have 37 countries as members. They began with a few universities. Today they have 107 universities that are participating. They have done an amazing job of building capacity in our universities across the continent. I think the executive secretary will actually tell you how many they have trained, how many professionals they've trained, how many professors they've trained, how many PhDs they've given across the continent, because what they do is actually train our graduates across the continent in different institutions of higher learning. The serious objective that we have as a continent through the RUFORUM is to ensure that we transform our universities. We've been having serious issues with the universities, just in terms of resources, in terms of the research output that they have, in terms of the scientific component that they have, in terms of the innovation that they undertake. And so I think coming together is really powerful, because what it will do is allow us to actually share what we have. We'll share experiences, we'll speak to the challenges that we have, and we look at the opportunities that our collaboration actually provides. And so we're very excited. We are very, very excited about the future of our universities, of our institutions of higher learning. We're excited that they will be able to respond much more effectively to the challenges that we have. I think that the main focus obviously is agriculture, capacity building in agriculture, and we're hoping that we'll make agriculture as trendy as everything else, so that we have many more young people make that choice of going back to agriculture because of the innovation that would have come into place, and because of how much income it would generate going into the future. And so we're not exploiting the potential that we have. I think that's the message, and that we need to do much, much better than we're doing right now. We know that we cannot do it alone, and that's why we need this collaboration across the continent, and so that those with different means can support others, but also so that we can actually learn from the research output of other universities. So a very exciting opportunity, conference that is held every 2 years. And so during the next 2 years, we'll be collaborating, obviously, to make sure that at the next meeting, much more is achieved. And the Executive Secretary, again, will tell you how wonderful the journey has been, but also how challenging it truly has been. But we've made an excellent beginning, and we're looking forward to the next many, many years. But for today, we'll be looking forward to the next 2 years to see where we take the whole RUFORUM process to. And so with those few words, I just want to tell you that today I also conveyed the wishes, the best wishes of our president. We are going to have a plenary session at 3 p.m. I hope to see all of you there. I think that's going to be the big do of the...
To let you know that this is an organization that was founded by 10 vice-chancellors in Nairobi here, and the Windsor Golf Club in Nairobi. So it's a baby that from Kenya that started with just a few universities, but the seed has now spread throughout the continent. And clearly the motivation is, how do we galvanize partnership and collaboration so that the African universities better respond to the continent agenda? Definitely there are areas that are priority. One is the human capital development, so that we have the knowledge, the research output to support the development, industrialization of our countries. But there's also simple but very, very important. How do we make sure that our universities are more responsive to the development needs of their countries? How do we make sure that the universities work towards supporting transformation, especially of the agricultural sector? The second, it's about the human type resource that we produced. Many years ago, until several, we have relied on training abroad to train for the continent. you and me know that that is not sustainable. Grace Machel from Mozambique told us a story that your neighbor will never fill your granary. You got to do it yourself. So there is that drive that collectively we can work together and provide quality training programs within Africa. But also embedded in it is that we have a new generation of leaders that are coming through universities and the other training institutions. We need that generation which know and love the continent. We would like to make sure that a Kenyan student is able to know what is in Egypt. A Kenyan student is able to know what is happening in Mali. A Kenyan student is able to know what is it in Mozambique. Because I know we all love where we come from. But actually when you go outside, you'll also see that there's something beautiful, and I can bring some of that to help him improve our countries. So fundamentally, the other element is that we would like to develop a new generation of scientists, of our leaders, who will be able to know and plan for our regions. Finally, I think it is really important for us as universities to make sure that we link closely with two major institutions. The policy organs that are responsible for developing the frameworks upon which we work, to make sure that the university's activities align to those policy frameworks. You have the Big Four agenda. So the issues, the role of organizations like RUFORUM is to work with our universities like Nairobi, Egerton, Eldoret. How do we work to make sure that we respond to the president's agenda, which is really to develop the Kenya? The other one is to do with universities recognizing that you cannot do this change alone. We need the partnerships. There are the civil society, there are the private sector leaders. How do we turn those innovations that we're generating, like from the University of Nairobi, so that it doesn't remain just as idea, but it can now be translated to the business community to take this into actual business opportunity for advancing the economies of our country. So it is really a great honor, colleagues and Cabinet Secretary, for us to be hosted by the government of Kenya to this meeting. And it's coming at a very, very important meeting. I was mentioning outside there, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta is one of the 10 heads of states that are leading and championing the advancement in education, science and technology and innovation. And this committee is going to meet next week. So really this meeting provides with us that opportunity as we build to that, and for us to provide messages that we can pass over to our cabinet secretaries and other people, and indeed to the head of the government of Kenya, so that when they plan, they have the input from universities and actors. So we are looking for a great week. We'll look forward to having you. And for today, there's a small event. We will be recognizing, Africa will be recognizing 7 outstanding people who have made very significant development in the continent. I would like you to be there and see who they are,